What's up, you all? Not only good looking, the girl is so smart, you can't beat her cooking. Ask me how I know, and I'll tell you so. She used to be my girl. Now, they blocked my last video because they said I played Donnell Jones. And so they blocked the whole video. You know, normally YouTube, if there's some kind of copyright violation, they'll allow you to edit the sound out, edit the song out. So I go to the edit the sound out portion, they won't let me do it. So you mean to tell me y'all blocked my video because I played something of Donnell Jones? I don't even know what it was. It had to be some kind of instrumental, but imagine getting my video blocked for Donnell Jones. Like not Michael Jackson, not Prince, not Marvin Gaye, not Stevie Wonder, Donnell Jones. Come on, y'all. It's getting out of control. But like I said, once they put what Mark Zuckerberg didn't tell anybody was once they flag your account, they're not going to take it off. This is why I said what he said was a load of crap, because once they flag your account and say your account is this, they'll never take it off. Come on, man. These people are playing a dirty and wicked game. You can't fear death more than God. Now, I've been talking about voting and, things of that nature. But what I'm really going to say is I'm going to play this guy's video. I actually looked this guy up. I'm going to play what he says because people think he's really saying something. But I'm going to play what he says. I'm just pulling up his bio real quick. And I can always tell a man where his convictions lie when at the end of his statement, whether he gives a solution or not. The girl is so smart, you can't beat her cooking. No, ask me how I know, and I'll tell you so. She used to be my girl. I used to neglect when she was mine. I used to neglect her. Oh, she wanted more than I could give. But as long as I live.
It's just divide and conquer, playing out domestically. And Democrats and Republicans is just another one of these divisions, because the country has been conquered by corporate economic imperialists. Look, I don't care who you vote for in November, because power doesn't care who you vote for in November. I've said it before. If you imagine that unelected power of the private sector is going to entrust the public with deciding how things are going to be run and who's going to run things, then you're living in a fantasy. It's absurd. America has subverted, sabotaged, and strangled democracies all around the world. They've been interfering with, tampering with, rigging elections across the globe for decades, from Haiti to Honduras, from Italy to Iran, from Syria to South Africa. They've toppled governments, assassinated elected officials, fixed elections, bribed and bullied and bulldozed democracies on every continent for a century. They don't think that any population in any country in the world can be trusted to elect leaders who will safeguard the interests of the American elite. So what makes you think that they're going to trust you with that power? They rig elections and install whoever they want in country after country, but somehow you think that they're not going to do that in your country. Why, how naive can you be? Listen, the election cycle in America is nothing but a mechanism for what you can call the campaign industrial complex, whereby billions upon billions of dollars of contributions, your money, are funneled into the private sector. I mean, when you donate to a politician or you donate to a candidate, where do you think that money goes? It goes directly to business. You're not doing anything but increase the revenue streams of consultancies, ad agencies, analytics firms, PR firms, media companies, social media companies, digital marketing agencies, events coordinators, on and on. This is nothing but.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think he's liberal or conservative? Based on what he said thus far, do you believe that this man, Shahid Bolson, is liberal or conservative? Just let me know in the chat if you think he's liberal or conservative based on what he said so far. We got a few liberals. We got, I would guess, conservative. Stanley says neither. Somebody said libertarian. Somebody said liberal. Somebody said Malcolm X type. Tierra Barnes said solution is going to be don't vote. Okay, so a lot of you all believe he's liberal. Some of you all believe that he's libertarian. Some of y'all believe he's no political affiliation. Some of y'all say he's anti-American. Okay, so let's continue.
But the public providing basically an economic stimulus package to unproductive industries. It's a wealth transfer that you yourselves are participating in. You're literally just donating money to the private sector and getting nothing in return. Getting nothing in return except that you get to watch the most expensive fan fiction movie about democracy ever produced. I mean, look at the Democrats. Kamala Harris was just appointed as the nominee. She wasn't voted for. This is straight up succession, not election. There were no primaries. She hasn't had to outline her policy platform, and no one needs her to do that. All she has to do is to not be Donald Trump. This is the logic of demonization versus policy debate as a campaign strategy. No candidate has to win your approval as long as the whole election is framed in the lesser of two evils scenario. And what's the point of that? To make the pre-programmed win seem plausible, that's all. And to not leave any opening for dissent to manifest that might make the win seem implausible. Because, for instance, if voters actually have demands of this candidate or that candidate, and the candidate fails to address those demands, then it could cast doubt upon their eventual victory. And inevitably, if a candidate does address voter demands, well, that will always end up alienating some other faction of voters. So we don't talk about issues. We don't talk about how to deal with issues. We just rally behind our party's candidate in lockstep because the other party's candidate is literally the devil incarnate. When you're operating in the lesser of two evils framework, you're always going to have decidedly low expectations of your chosen candidate, and that's perfect when the election is already fraudulent in the first place. So this uncomplicates the rigging process. Your chosen candidate, and that's perfect when the election is already fraudulent in the first place. So this uncomplicates the rigging process.
So he's telling you all that the system is rigged, it's fake. So what hasn't he said? What hasn't he said? I agree with you, Blatine. What hasn't he said? Blatine No said that Agenda 2024 is realer. Chuck Pulley said talking in circles. Tierra Barnes said the solution. Let's continue.
Yes, I said rigging, and don't think for a second, don't you imagine that that's a conspiracy theory, that the U.S. rigs elections. But between 1946 and 2000, America is documented to have interfered with, tampered with, malignly influenced or outright rigged at least 88 elections from Europe to Latin America to Asia to Africa. So again, if you think that they'll do this everywhere else, but your so-called democracy is pristine, I would have to ask you why you think so. Why would it be more important to the power structure to control the outcome of an election in, say, Guyana, than it would be for them to control the outcome of an election in the United States of America? Because yes, Guyana is one of the countries where America rigged elections in the past. I'm telling you, I don't care who you vote for, because power doesn't care who you vote for, because the outcome is not determined by you. You know, Biden stepped aside.
So what he said was that the system is rigged. This is what he's saying. The system is rigged. So my question is for him, so what's he going to do about it? What's he going to do? Okay, we got the system is rigged, voting is fake, so what's he going to do about it? You see, you can't fear death more than you fear God. Again, everything he's saying has a non-consequential outcome. Saying that the system is rigged, saying it's all fake has no consequence. What has a consequence is if you say, I'm going to remove myself from this system, because now his suits don't matter. Now his house doesn't matter. Now the car doesn't matter. Now his status doesn't matter. You see, when you leave the system, you lose the world. So when I hear somebody talking about that voting is fraudulent, the system is flawed, okay, then what's your solution? If you tell me that Nimrod is going to rig the elections, but you're still going to stay in Babylon, what you really accomplished? You're telling me that Nimrod is going to rig the next election, but you're saying I'm still going to stay in Babylon and I'm still going to be under the leadership of Nimrod. So what'd you actually do? What'd you do? This guy did all this talking and didn't give one solution. So that means, like I said before, he trusts the outcome. If you're telling me the system is bad and it's horrible and it's a setup and you don't have a solution, what you're saying is you trust the outcome. So even if he doesn't vote, he still voted. He's not going to go off grid. He's not going to say, let's secede. He's not going to say, let's get these people out of office. That's not what he's going to say. He's not going to say any solution that would cause sweat to pour from his brow or blood to spill from his body. This is why I say not voting is a virtue signal. It doesn't cost you anything. What costs you something is for you to say, let's get them folks out of office or let's leave the system. Either one of those is going to cost you. Both of those things are going to cost you. When a man gets done talking, when a man gets done speaking, and at the end of his speech, he doesn't have a solution, then you know he doesn't believe in what he's saying. Then you know he doesn't believe in what he is saying. Thank you, Tierra. He does not want to lose that suit and tie. It's a lot easier to do this than it is to go start a farm. It's a lot easier to just tell somebody don't vote and sit back and hop in your car and go on vacation. You got all kind of folks listening to this guy talk, and they about to go hop in their car, hop on a plane and go on vacation. How are you telling me you don't vote, but you're going to hop on a plane and go to Jamaica and live your best life? Think about that. Think about you telling somebody, I don't vote, but you're going to use your passport from the wicked system to leave the country and go travel somewhere else to another wicked system. So it's not like you leave America and all these governments are nice and they're good. See, these people make you believe that America's bad and everybody else isn't. All governments are corrupt, not just America's. All governments are corrupt. So the standard everybody's holding America to is ridiculous. You think them governments in Africa aren't corrupt? You think those governments in Europe aren't corrupt? Oh, I get it. Y'all fell for the propaganda. They told you all that it wasn't a global thing, it was an American thing. And so you hold America to the highest standard. That's why America's held to the standard of having slavery end in 1856. I think it's 56 or 53. My bad, 1865, I'm sorry. So slavery ended in 1865, but America still gets judged for it. Meanwhile, there is slavery in Africa right now. Shh. Slavery in China. Shh. Slavery in India. Shh. Middle East. Shh. Think about that. America is on the hook for slavery, and it ended in 1865, almost 200 years ago, and it's slavery going on now. People don't say a word about it. But you want to convince me that you not voting is a sign of revolution. But if some troops hit the ground, you're not going to go from not voting to fighting troops. We can agree on that. You're not going to go from I'm not going to vote to fighting troops. You're not going to do that. That's a big gap from not voting, because at least we can say the folks that are voting, they do care about the outcome. Whether they're on the left or the right, they do care about who leads them. Whether they're naive, whether they're dumb, whether they're lost, whatever, they still care about who is leading them. The person that says, I trust the outcome, is not going to take up arms and fight. It's not going to happen. So this guy did all this talking about the system being rigged, but he never gave you a solution. And you know why he didn't? Because he knows as a man, a solution is going to cost him everything. You got a bunch of folks running around here talking about they don't vote. I'm not going to participate in the system. But you're still driving the cars made by the wicked companies. You're still driving the electric vehicles. Don't they have the kids doing slave labor in Africa? Y'all told me it was slave labor to make all these electronics, but you're driving around in a Tesla. Y'all told me that it took slave labor to make these electronics and this technology, but you're telling me you don't vote, but you're driving around in a Tesla. Just make it make sense. So you don't vote, but you'll drive around in a car that was created off of slave labor. This is what y'all say. I don't believe it's slave labor, because without those jobs, folks would have nothing. It's folks in Africa right now dying of starvation. It's folks being born into generational starvation, famine. They don't want to leave the area. They don't want to grow no crops, do nothing. Just be born and just die. So I don't call it slave labor. I know without those jobs, there are no jobs. But you all said it was slave labor. So you're telling me you don't want to be involved in this wicked system, but you want to drive in a car that's created by a wicked system. That's why I told you that voting, not voting, is a virtue signal. This man then gave you all of this talking points, all of these talking points, and he ain't mentioned once. He just told you that the whole system is rigged. How is he calmly telling you that the whole system is rigged? Why is he not telling you this with an AR-15 in his hand? Why is he not telling you this from a bunker? Why is he not telling you this on his farm? Why is he not telling you this in front of a bunch of people that's tired of this stuff? Why is he so calmly telling you in a suit and tie in a room that the whole system is corrupt? I'll tell you why. At the end of the day, he trusts the outcome. At the end of the day, he trusts the outcome. Let's go to his biography. Sahib Bolson is a controversial figure, but has nevertheless emerged as one of the most unique and influential public intellectuals of the Muslim world. So this is his own bio from his own website. This is what he said about himself. I'm going to say it again. Sahib Bolson is a controversial figure, but nevertheless emerged as one of the most unique and influential public intellectuals of the Muslim world. Remember what we said, that intellectuals don't actually do anything. Intellectuals don't build. They don't create. They just talk, come up with ideas. So now we know the man talking about don't vote is an idealist. He's an intellectual. Philosophy. Let's continue. And again, my point is not to tell anybody to vote or to not vote. I'm saying that you not voting isn't you being a revolutionary. It's not. Because every other area of your life, you are complicit with the system. Even the church you go to has a 501c3 with the government. So even where you go to worship is still the system. So you worship in a place that's ran by the system. You go to a job that's ran by the system. You pay taxes into a system. And when it's time for you to enjoy yourself, you still give money to the system. So my question is, how are you going to tell me that Nimrod is bad and you're not going to vote for him, but you're still going to live in Babylon? Okay. Let's continue. Sahih was born in the United States and raised primarily by his mother following the divorce of his parents. The family struggled financially, and Shahid and his brother had to work from an early age to make ends meet. I'm telling you right now that poverty in America automatically will make you a liberal. Because all of the propaganda, the narrative, and the rhetoric is that you are a victim. So if a person grows up poor in America, they're automatically liberal. The Democrats appeal, and I guarantee if you go to back to his history, I guarantee you're gonna see a lot of liberal leanings like I saw in this clip. Let's continue. Even as a child, though, Shahid was disturbed by the gap between the rich and the poor in America and the materialistic lifestyle which he felt devalued human life. I told you. Shahid attended a local high school and was fascinated with the works of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. and spent hours at the library reading. Eventually, he dropped out of school and spent all his time at the library. Again, he's an intellectual. So that means his foundation, his foundation for his life was not the Bible. The foundation for his life was what? A bunch of communist and liberal literature. His foundation for who he is today was literature that was created by communists, Marxists, socialists, globalists. That's his foundation. So the foundation from which he's speaking from isn't from a man that's about to fight for freedom. He's coming from an intellectual standpoint. That's why I was asking y'all, if you listen to him talk, is he liberal or conservative? And again, some people said, most said liberal, some people said conservative, some folks said in between, some folks said neither. But my point to you all was that these people sound conservative. But if you actually listen to them, they're just more articulate libtards. If you actually listen to them, they're just more articulate libtards. Miss Cat Sinclair said, I grew up poor, went through the communist phase for a while. Of course. In America, all of the propaganda is pushed to the poor. And so you grow up with the propaganda machine telling you it's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. So you grow up in America despising people that are rich and successful. They put that spirit of envy in young poor children in America. Never once do they say, look at your mom and your daddy and what they did as to why you're in the situation you're in today. They never say, what did your parents do? When I came up, they used to always tell me that your life is a summation of your choices. But now at this age, they're telling me that my life is a summation of somebody else's choices, i.e. the system is rigged. If the system is so rigged, then how can you be held accountable? If the system is so rigged, then how can God have a judgment day? If the system is so rigged, then how is God going to have a judgment day? How is God going to judge me if I was born in a corrupt system? How is God going to judge me if I'm in a system and it's all a setup? God would be dishonorable to judge me for being in a system where I had no control. So clearly, God believes that I have control. How do we know this? At the end of my life, God's going to judge me. Shannon was not a troubled youth. He was very stable. He had his life together. He was smart and funny, and he knew it. He was very critical of America's consumerism and would always find a way of mocking it, his brother said. As he grew older, he began to be more active in practicing those philosophies, getting involved in social work, helping homeless people, worked as a caseworker for indignant families, and as a crisis intervention counselor in gang neighborhoods. Through all of this work, his family said Bolson continued to search for a spiritual direction that fitted with his views on justice. Does he still sound conservative? Does he still sound conservative? Based on his history, I told you, again, he grew up poor in America. He consumed Marxist and communist and socialist literature and globalist literature. Then he ended up working in the social arena, either as a counselor, gang intervention person. He's working with the disenfranchised. Does he still sound like a conservative? The Bible says that wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding. You see, the understanding piece is where most people miss. The Bible says at the beginning, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fear of the Lord is not complete wisdom. It is the beginning of it. Fear of the Lord is you turning the knob on the door to walk into what is wisdom. Solomon's problem was he didn't fear God. Miss Cat Sinclair said that she repented for her involvement in Marxism. How many of us have repented for our involvement in all these wicked movements, from the Black conscious movement to the socialist movement, to the communist movement, to the Marxist movement, to the globalist movement? Dear Heavenly Father, we repent right now in Jesus' name for any of our involvement in any of these wicked systems. Because you can't say that the voting is bad, but nothing else is, if it's all the same system. Dear Lord, we ask for forgiveness right now. We repent. If we ever was involved in any kind of wicked agenda, we repent. In Jesus' name, amen. So we know that this person, Shahid Bolson, is a stone cold liberal. He's just articulate. He just sounds like he's not. And you know he's a liberal because when it comes down to a solution, he's going to sit back and say, I'm good. Every woman out there listening, if you're talking to a man and he doesn't have a solution, do not deal with him. Because the way he approaches life, he's going to approach you. That means in a relationship, he is not going to be solution orientated. Not with you, not with the house, not with the finances, not with anything. If a man does not have solutions, he's already putting himself in the category of a victim. If a man does not have solutions, he automatically puts himself in the position of the victim. If he doesn't have solutions, that means that he's okay with the outcome. So ladies, if you're talking to a man, he may be venting to you or complaining, but if at the end of his complaint or venting, he don't have a solution, do not date him. Don't deal with him. Because when it comes to you, he's going to be filled with excuses. Let's continue. In the mid-90s, Shahid was attending university after completing his GED and took a class on African American studies. In the course, he was required to read the autobiography of Malcolm X, which spurred him to begin researching Islam. At that time, Shahid recalls, I had been looking into many religions, thinking I would take what made sense to me from this one or that one. But I had not considered taking anything from Islam until I read about Malcolm X's conversion. Once I began researching Islam, I simply recognized that this was not only the truth, but that in fact, it was what I already believed. I just never had a name for it. At 22, he embraced Islam. So again, the foundation of Shahid Bolson is that of a Marxist, communist, liberal, globalist. And then when it came time to pick a religion, he picked Islam based on following a socialist, Malcolm X. So again, like I told you all, his foundation isn't of a man that's going to say, let me have my own land. It's not, let's go get Klaus Schwab. His foundation is, let's go write a book and let's go lecture. Let's go speak. Let's go be intellectuals. What about the Great Reset? Oh, don't worry about that. We'll be able to philosophize ourselves out of that. That's even a word.
I don't care who you vote for, because power doesn't care who you vote for, because the outcome is not determined by you. Biden stepped aside because his pre-programmed victory could never be convincing. But look, Biden himself, the fact of Biden, a man who is literally in late-stage senility, a man who is visibly disintegrating before our eyes, the very fact that he was not only president, but was absolutely going to be run for another term, despite being a cadaver on strings, that should let you know that power does not reside in that office. Politicians serve two functions. The first is to distract you with the performance of democratic government, and the second is to be effigies that can be burned to satisfy public anger when the policies dictated by the private sector impose misery on the population. So
my question for you all is, why didn't the Nation of Islam get some land and build some houses? Why didn't the Nation of Islam, since America's so racist and white folks are devils, why did the Nation of Islam go buy hundreds of acres and build their own cities? Why didn't the Nation of Islam, who's so pro-black and so anti-government, why didn't the Nation of Islam go buy acres and acres and acres and acres of land and start building their own cities? Why did the Nation of Islam build a Mecca here in the United States? Joseph H. Jackson did it. Joseph H. Jackson, the pastor, the one that believes in the Bible, he did it. So why did Nation of Islam do it? Why did the Black Panthers go out there and go buy acres and acres of land and start building cities so they can have their own police force? Tish says what Bill Gates did. Yeah, Bill Gates did it. China's doing it. Neek said they're weak. Just a Girl said because it's easier to be a victim. Tierra Barr said they profit from the system. All of them are correct. And this guy, Shahid Bolson's whole foundation is literally Marxism and communism and socialism. Social justice work. And I could tell by the way he's talking. He's not talking with conviction. He just sounds good. I'm going to play a video of a person that has conviction. And we got to be wise. You got to be able to hear these people talk. You should be able to hear RFK talk and know he doesn't have any conviction. Not because he has a frog in his throat, but because he don't have any conviction. Because his solutions aren't going to ruffle any feathers. You think that these men out here are giving softball answers because they don't know. That's not why they're doing it. They're giving softball answers because they know if they throw a real pitch, somebody's going to want to hit the ball. You can't fear death more than you fear God. And the reason why these men are sounding so articulate and so wonderful is because they're afraid to die. The most profound statements in history were very simple. I don't know who said it, but give me liberty or give me death. Ask not what your country can do for you, but for what ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. The most profound statements in history are never drawn out and disarticulate and elaborate. Nike said, just do it. Gatorade asked the question, is it in you? The most profound statements ever uttered in the human existence were simple. You know why? Because the truth ain't complex. The truth is simple. Do you want to live or do you want to die? That's it. That's the basic human question. Do you want to live or do you want to die? After that question is answered, then you can talk about what's my purpose? Why am I here? But before we get to why am I here? What's my purpose? The first two questions are going to be, do you want to live or do you want to die? What's that one thing with the snake and the yellow flag with the snake? Simple, don't tread on me. The symbols, don't tread on me. Doug said that truth only goes one way. So when I hear these men talking, giving me these long paragraphs about why they're not voting, I know it's not the truth. Because I know if a person was really serious about it, they would say, not only do I not vote, but I don't do this. Matter of fact, I live in the desert. I live in the woods. I live on a farm. Thank you, Mr. Milton. Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me death. Michael Jordan said, Republicans wear sneakers too. Imagine, I don't know if you all saw Michael Jordan's The Last Dance, but there's a scene in there where Jordan is talking about, people not liking the way he did things. And he starts to cry, his liver and kidneys are shot. So he probably ain't got enough fluids in his body to cry. But if he could, he would have cried. But he started kind of tearing up. And he said, if y'all don't, like the way I did it, then don't play with me then. If y'all don't like the way I did it, then don't play with me then. He said, man, cut the camera. I said, imagine these people making Michael Jordan break down because he created a culture of success. You got players that would have went on into obscurity without Michael Jordan. Dennis Rodman's legacy would have never been what it was without Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen's legacy, who Scottie Pippen really was, is hidden by Jordan's greatness. Go ask some real Chicago Bulls fans back in the day, did they like Scottie Pippen? They're going to say no. Scottie Pippen wasn't clutch. He couldn't be depended on. You knew what type of man Scottie Pippen was when the owner told him, don't sign this deal. And Scottie Pippen signed it anyway. But he wanted the excuse to sign it. So the excuse was that my family needs me because they showed his family. I said, man, everybody in the house in a wheelchair. They ain't going nowhere. They can wait 3 more years till you sign a big contract. Everybody in the house in a wheelchair, they ain't going nowhere. They can wait 3 more years till you sign a good deal. They can wait. But now Scottie Pippen had to have that money. He wanted to brag. He wanted to stunt. I know why he signed it. Scottie Pippen signed that contract the same reason folks got that shot. They was thinking about the world. But this error made Michael Jordan break down. He got people condemning him because of how he made men around him great. Every player that got interviewed, especially the scrubs, said that Jordan made them better players. These folks owe their career to Michael Jordan. There ain't no blueprint for greatness. You think, right, he bought a jet, right. Do you think greatness comes with a blueprint? Do you think somebody being great being the best in the world comes with a blueprint? You know what the trial and error is for someone that's paving the way? You know what the trial and error is for someone that's clearing the path? Expecting him to be perfect and all the pressure's on him. The pressure's on Michael Jordan. If the Bulls lose, they pointing at Mike. They ain't pointing at Scottie Pippen. They're not pointing at Phil Jackson. They're pointing at Michael Jordan. All the pressure is on him. He has to be the first one at practice and the last one to leave. He has to be the one to go to the weight room. He has to be the one shooting making 1,000 shots a day. He got to be the one doing that. They ain't got to do it. He has to do it. He don't get the LeBron James treatment. If the team wins, LeBron James is the GOAT. If the team loses, he doesn't have any help. He don't have that narrative. He don't have that propaganda behind him. Jordan got it out the mud. Then Isaiah Thomas, the spineless sewer urchin that he is, gonna try to tell the media, tell the world that Jordan went to the commissioner and said, they hurting me. But he never told you they stopped hurting him. Isaiah Thomas told you that he went to David Stern, and David Stern, Jordan said, listen, David Stern, they beat me up. But he never said the Pistons stopped beating him up. That's how you know it's a lie. Now, if Isaiah Thomas would have said, he went to the commissioner, and then David Stern called Chuck Daly and told Chuck Daly to stop it, that'd have been it. He didn't say that. That's how you know he's lying. Anything to tarnish Jordan's legacy, because they know, the system knows, if men think like Jordan, you can't have a great reset. If a man wakes up every morning and say no excuses, you can't have a great reset. So there's an intentional effort to destroy Jordan's legacy. There's an intentional effort to destroy Michael Jordan's legacy because of what he represented. With the gambling, with being a whoremonger, with the alleged cocaine use, with the alcohol, with all of that. With all of that, he could have been up all night long. But guess what? He's going to be the first one at practice. And he's going to be the last one to leave. No excuses.
Misery on the population. So when an American asks me who should they vote for, or when they say that this one is better than that one, or at least not as bad as that one, and what do I think, and so on and so on and so on, well, you may as well be asking me about which Marvel superhero is better than the other, because you're not talking to me about figures who have any real significance with regards to policy. You're not talking to me about figures who actually exert any control over anything. You're not talking about the real existing power structure. You're asking me to give you an opinion about a fictional scenario in which your government wields independent power. As long as you're fixated on this charade, there's no danger whatsoever of you.
So I don't know what he's going to say, but where is the solutions? From Shahid Bolson, where are the solutions? When the country was shut down, I saw the Patriots go to those capitals and those cities with AR-15s saying open it back up. I didn't see Shahid. All that footage in Europe of them protesting those mandates and those shots, getting ran over by police, getting terrorized, I didn't see Shahid doing that. Matter of fact, Shahid probably even got the shot. I wouldn't be surprised or doubt that Shahid Bolson got that shot. Like I said earlier, he's an articulate libtard. We went through his history. He grew up socialist, Marxist, and communist. He read a bunch of books by socialists, Marxists, and communists. He idolized Malcolm X and Mahatma Gandhi. He became a Muslim because of Malcolm X. He's an intellectual. He's self-described as being a controversial figure. And he's emerged, and let me read it. Shahid Bolson is a controversial figure, but has nevertheless emerged as one of the most unique and influential public intellectuals of the Muslim world. He's an intellectual. He's not going to get his hands dirty. You ain't going to never hear him say, we got to go get Klaus Schwab or Bernie Berger. He ain't going to say we got to get Bill Gates. He ain't going to say we got to stop this great reset. He ain't going to say that. He ain't going to say we got to execute our constitutional rights and get these tyrants out of their position in government. He ain't going to say that. You know why? Because that would require him to sweat and bleed and cry. Or should I say bleed, sweat, and cry? So he will never have a solution that requires him to do that. He's talking to you in a room with a suit on, feeling safe. He's not leading the charge. This ain't Paul Revere. The globalists are coming. The globalists are coming. This ain't Paul Revere. He's an intellectual. And like I said earlier, he's a liberal. He's a socialist. He's a Marxist. I guarantee he's anti-capitalism. He's anti all of these corporations. So then what is he for? You know what's funny? All these folks are anti-capitalism, but what are they pro? If they're anti-capitalism, I guarantee they're pro y'all all making the same amount of money, doing completely different jobs. I guarantee they're all for you all doing completely different jobs, regardless of education and expertise, making the same amount of money. Again, he's telling you the system is rigged, but I guarantee his entire life is entrenched in the system. His entire life is entrenched in the system. These people sound good. He's an intellectual. He's not going to get his hands dirty. He's not going to get these dirty. He's an intellectual. He's going to tell you what it sounds like, what it looks like, what it should be, what it could be. But he ain't going to never use these, ever. Who feels like being disgusted? Let's go.
With a party. I'm with Black Americans. I'm with people. I'm not with a party. I'm not pushing anybody's agenda. So if somebody take that, I'm going to say it again for you. I'm voting for her because she Black, because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm told. I'm not going to ask no questions because I'm not allowed to ask questions. I'm not going to question her because who am I to question her? The president of America is the boss. You don't have to love your boss. You know, I had a few jobs in my life. I don't think I ever liked any of my bosses, but it wasn't about that. I didn't need to like them. I'm big on policies. I'm big on telling the truth and keep it in 100, you know. But again, I'm one of them guys that I ride right or wrong. And I want our vote to be respected. And I think the only way our vote will be respected is if we all figure out how to vote the same way, you know, because if we show some type of pattern in the way we vote, then I don't think we have to worry about the pandering as much. Meaning, you know, if we all over the place with who we vote for, then our vote's still not gonna be respected. But if they can see us all vote for one person, then it's like, all right, they coming together somehow, some way. But don't, all right, if you look at this, right, this is this, and she actually didn't do this. It was this way. Like, don't lie to me. Don't try to convince me. Don't pander to me. Don't take advantage of me mentally. Just tell the truth. I don't know.
This is the average black man. This is the average black man. I'm going to play it again. But who do you think told him he can't ask any questions? You think a man told him that or a woman told him that? Who does it sound like would say, you can't ask any questions, just vote for her? Does that sound like a man or a woman? "96 to Life" said they'd vote for Satan if he was black. It's true. That's why I said when the Antichrist comes back, he's going to be a person of color. When the Antichrist comes back, he is going to have the endorsements of black people. When the Antichrist comes, he's going to have the endorsement of black people. If the Antichrist came today and he was black, now imagine an Antichrist type of figure, that he was more charismatic than, who's charismatic? I don't know. Okay, but let's say he was more charismatic than Barack Obama. He spoke better than Barack Obama. Okay, he's more charismatic than Barack Obama. He speaks better than King. He looks better than, I don't know, whoever y'all think look good. He looked better than everybody. Like, just imagine a figure like that. Imagine somebody that's black. They can speak well, look good, all these attributes. And then imagine black people having to decipher or discern whether or not this person is of Satan or of God. You all know and I know they're going to vote for him or her. We know this. And it's not because black folks don't know right from wrong. It's because black people's character shows up in their actions, like everybody's does. So when it comes to voting, black folks will never cast a righteous vote. Black folks will never select a righteous leader. It's not in them to do it. It's not in them to do it because black culture is one of no character. So if anybody comes to the scene and they're a better version of Barack, MLK, and all of them, Marcus Garvey, black folks are going to be helpless, taking candy from a baby. I'm listening to IG. I'm going to stop right now and come right back. Instagram is so communist. I'm going to make a song. Instagram is so communist. Instagram is so communist. Facebook is so communist. You know them little, them house mix songs or like that dubstep stuff? I want to make a little dubstep song like Instagram so communist. Facebook so communist. But listen, I'm gonna play this. Mr. Milton said black folks think that Barack Obama is God. TikTok is so communist. Listen, Instagram, somebody reported me talking about Umar Johnson. They took down my live. I disputed it. They put my live back, but kept my live privileges suspended. So you acknowledge you made a mistake, but I still can't go live. Communism. So I'm going to play this again. This is Iceware Vizo.
I'm not with a party. I'm with Black Americans. I'm with people. I'm not with a party. I'm not pushing anybody's agenda. So if somebody take that, I'm going to say it again for you. I'm voting for her because she Black, because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm told. I'm not going to ask no questions because I'm not allowed to ask questions.
So who do you think told him that? Who do you think told this grown man that he is not allowed to ask questions? I'll tell you, Black women. You see, the Black man already has a slave master. And it wasn't Monsieur Candy over there at Candyland. It wasn't a slave master on a plantation. The Black man is a slave to the Black woman's vagina. That's what has the Black man whooped and beat down. It ain't never been the white man. What's had the Black man subservient is that bedroom. And so most Black men know if I don't support Kamala Harris, I'm not going to be able to deal with Black women. This is not an election about morals, like political morals or policies or none of that. For Black men, this election is about access to Black women in the bedroom. Say it again. This election is not about any type of policy. It's not about where the country is headed. For Black men, this is about them having access to Black women sexually. That's all this is about. And the average Black man knows if I don't support Kamala Harris, I won't have access to Black women, period. So when he said that he was told that he couldn't ask any questions, who do you think told him that? Black women. Let me start it over.
I'm with Black Americans. I'm with people. I'm not with a party. I'm not pushing anybody's agenda. So if somebody take that, I'm going to say it again for you. I'm voting for her because she Black, because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm told. I'm not going to ask no questions because I'm not allowed to ask questions. I'm not going to question her because who am I to question her? The president of America is the boss. You don't have to love your boss. You know, I had a few jobs in my life. I don't think I ever liked any of my bosses, but it wasn't about that. I didn't need to like them. I'm big on policies. I'm big on telling the truth and keep it in 100, you know.
Now imagine this guy right here, Iceware Vizo. Now, do you think he was a good employee? Just based on his logic, based on his mannerism, based on how he's talking, do you think he was a good employee? Why would this type of person ever like their boss? There's always going to be a problem with this type of person and a boss, always. Not only is he a non-thinker, but he's a vocal non-thinker. This man just said, I'm big on policy, but I'm voting for her because she's Black. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she's Black, but I'm big on policy. This is the Black mind. This is double-minded as ever. You see, what Black culture does is it takes away the standard. You see, in Black America, what he's saying makes sense. To the average Black person, what he's saying makes sense. And when I say average, 90+%. The majority of Black people agree with this man talking right now, Iceware Vizo. As double-minded as he sounds, as weak and pathetic as he sounds, most Black people agree with him. Which means that most Black men are just like him, and most Black women are accustomed or even used to these type of Black men. Let's continue.
You know, but again, I'm one of them guys that I ride right or wrong, and I want our vote to be respected. And
he said again, I'm one of those guys that ride right or wrong, but you just said you stand on truth. He just said I stand on truth. Now he's saying he gonna ride whether it's right or whether it's wrong. Let me play it again.
And keep it in 100, you know. But again, big on policies. I'm big on telling the truth and keep it in 100, you know. But again, I'm one of them guys that I ride right or wrong, and I want our vote to be respected.
So a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Not some of his ways, not a few of his ways, not most of his ways, all of his ways. Just based on this interview, I know his life is chaotic. He has a woman's energy. He has a Jezebel. He's a Jezebel. He has a Jezebel spirit in him. He has the Jezebel spirit in him. Chaos. This man said that he stands on truth, but he's going to ride whether it's right or whether it's wrong. Then he said he's going to vote for Kamala because she's black, but he's big on policy. And keep in mind what he's saying, it makes sense to 90+% of black people. If you don't believe me, dear black people, play this video in front of the folks you know and tell me if they think he sounds crazy.
And I think the only way our vote will be respected is if we all figure out how to vote the same way, you know, because if we show some type of pattern in the way we vote, then I don't think we have to worry about the pandering as much.
So this idiot, this dummy, I swear Vizo, is complete imbecile. Not only is he cowardly, not only is he spiritually void, but he's also stupid. Can someone please tell I swear Vizo that black people vote 90+% Democrat? Can someone please tell I swear Vizo that black people vote almost 90+% Democrat? In fact, Mr. Vizo, black people vote the highest of any group for a political party. Black people vote higher than any other demographic for a political party. And this dummy just got on the Breakfast Club and said, we got to all vote the same way. And the dummies on the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the Fraud, DJ Jealousy, and Jess Hilarious, didn't even have enough decency, enough character to tell him that black people vote 90+%, because they know. The black man is weak.
And, you know, if we all over the place with who we vote for, then our vote's still not going to be respected. But if they can see us all vote for one person, then it's like, all right, they coming together somehow, some way. But don't. All right, if you look at this.
Do you know how dumb you know what's crazy? If you go to the comments of this video, I guarantee it, they agree with him. Do you know how stupid and dumb he sounds? Black people vote 90+% Democrat. This is why I said, take the microphone from black people. Most black people should not be speaking to the public. Most black people don't know anything. Please take the microphone from black people, please. He has no idea what he's talking about. None. Just a weak and defeated, pathetic and pitiful man identifying as black.
facts, right? This is this, and she actually didn't do this. It was this way. Like, don't lie to me. Don't try to convince me. Don't pander to me. Don't take advantage of me mentally. Just tell the truth. I don't know.
You don't know anything about Kamala Harris. You don't know anything about Kamala Harris, but you're going to do as you're told and vote for her. Kamala Harris's campaign could be, I want your firstborn. You don't know anything about her, but just vote for her. Because the black woman said I had to if I wanted to lay down with her. The black man is weak. The most stupid and ignorant person imaginable to be on the Breakfast Club speaking about politics. Just dumb and stupid. You know what's even more sad about the guy, I swear Vizo, is that when you present the truth to him, he's going to reject it. This is what I mean by the cultural lack of character. When you present the truth to black people, they're going to reject it. This is not an election about policy or politics. This is an election about character. We already know that black women are reprobate. They're going to vote for Kamala because they want to see somebody black in office. That's all the Eve spirit. That's all the Jezebel spirit. We already know that's black. That's most black women. They'd rather see America. They would, if you ask the average black woman, you want to see America burn or Kamala be president, they're going to pick Kamala. They'll rather celebrate Kamala at her inauguration in the ashes. Just bald-headed, twerking in ash, just so they can look at her be the president. And the black man is even lower than the black woman when it comes to that regard. Because at least black women are going to get some kind of virtue. They're at least going to be able to see something. They're at least going to be able to do this in unison around the world. But black men are just doing it to hopefully have access to said black woman in the bed. The black woman is thinking about access to the bedroom. He's thinking about sex. So the black man is willing to let the country burn just as long as so he can fornicate in the ashes. So you got black women twerking and doing this in the ashes, and you got the black man running around trying to fornicate in the ashes. I'm just saying. Black man is weak. Let's continue.
I'm absolutely disgusted with the American people. Not just liberals or Democrats, but conservatives, Republicans. Absolutely disgusted with all of you. You see, currently, we've got Venezuelan street gangs taking over apartment buildings, currently just apartment buildings in this nation. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. I'm seeing conservatives everywhere talk about those are sanctuary cities. They voted for it. Let them deal with it. Well, let me explain to you morons why that sounds stupid. You see, last time I checked, I thought this was the United States of America, meaning that this entire country.
Now, they reported my live again on Instagram. They just reported my live again. Now, tell me what Red Pill Rocky said that was anything or any way remotely bad. Look, remove your content. I'll show y'all. Look. For what? See why. See? See? So really what you see is they don't want me to go live before the election. That's basically what it is. Because clearly he hasn't said anything. I have what has been said that could be offensive. What did he say? Let's play it back.
Country belongs to all of us,
With
with the American people. Not just liberals or Democrats, but conservatives, Republicans, absolutely disgusted with all of you. You see, currently, we've got Venezuelan street gangs taking over apartment buildings, currently just apartment buildings in this nation. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. I'm seeing conservatives everywhere talk about those are sanctuary cities. They voted for it. Let them deal with it. Well, let me explain to you morons why that sounds stupid. You see, last time I checked, I thought this was the United States of America, meaning that this entire country belongs to all of us. And I don't know about you, but I'm not okay with just giving parts of my country away to foreign street gangs because someone voted for it in some state that's not mine.
So again, nothing that he said is in any way a violation of a community guideline. And someone asked, what community? So clearly, they just don't want me to go live. So now when I go live again after 30 days, it'd be another 30 days. Again, the goal is to not have me go live before the election. This is why I said that Mark Zuckerberg stuff, what he said was cap. He's complicit. Whatever the Biden administration told him to do with people's accounts, they still did it. And not just still did it, they're still doing it. Mark Zuckerberg, Metaverse Instagram, has not removed any restrictions from my account. I haven't gained followers in 3 years. I've only lost followers. Think about what I'm telling you. I haven't gained any followers in 3 years. I can only lose followers. If someone follows me, it triggers the algorithm to make 2 people unfollow me. So Mark Zuckerberg is saying they made him do it. It's a lie because he's still doing it. What Red Pill Rocky said is in no way offensive. No way. It doesn't violate anything. Now, why are they not doing this to Umar Johnson? Why are they not doing this to Tariq Nasheed? Ta-Nehisi Coates, Ibrahim Kleenex McKenzie, whatever his name is. The Nation of Islam. 18 Keys, Silly Carson. Why is it that I can't go live with 9 people watching? They have thousands of people watching and they can still go live. I get told every day that I'm selling out, that I'm a sellout, that I'm working for the system. I'm getting a check from white people. Then my question is, then why can't I go live? Why can't I get followers? Why am I shadow? Why can't I post on TikTok? Why is the system not punishing those people going against them? Why does Umar Johnson get a pass? 18 Keys gets a pass. Silly Carson gets a pass. Ta-Nehisi Coates, Michael Eric Dyson, Ibrahim Kleenex McKenzie, whatever his name is. Tariq Nasheed. That one guy with the locks in his hair. That one guy, the chubby one. Forgot his name, but the chubby one. The glasses. Willie D. Luke Campbell. All of them. You mean to tell me these people are actively, my song, these people are actively going against the system, and the system is allowing them to operate free on these platforms? They reported my live. On my other page, they put the content back and they said we made a mistake, but you still can't go live. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then when they do it, it's like you can't go live, you can't make money, you can't do comments, you can't. It's like it's crazy.
At this point, I'm considering voting for Kamala Harris just to see if I can speed up the process and put the final nails in the coffin to see if you conservatives are going to stand up and fight for your country and not just give it away to foreign street gangs. And before the tough guys down in Texas, Arizona, or California say that wouldn't happen in my state, I do recall that your states are the ones that let them in.
Now you hear Red Pill Rocky talking. Now, Instagram, nobody reported Shaheed Bolson talking. Nobody reported Shaheed Bolson talking. Nobody reported Icewear Bezo talking. But as soon as Red Pill Rocky come on here and says that he ain't cool with the Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complex, boom. Shut it down. Miss Tiffany said they took my page in 2021 for posting anti-jab stuff. It's disgusting. Roly-poly Martin gets to say what he wants to say. Let's continue. We just don't want you to go live, Blanche. That's all. Just don't go live. We can't have you going live before the election. Yeah, they can report you. Yeah. It doesn't have to be true. Just as long as they report you, that's it. But Mark Zuckerberg said it doesn't matter what he said. Let me find. Let me get my mind. What was I looking for?
Is civilization on Mars. They did not originate here and go there. We planted them there. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and none of the 9 planets are made from the same material. The people on Mars are similar in some respects to us on Earth. They are black, a bit taller and skinnier than a black man and woman on Earth. They are similar to us, but the Martian atmosphere was created so distinct from Earth's atmosphere. Biologically, there can be no cross-pollination. No black Martian can come to Earth and exist in this environment. No black man from Earth can go to Mars and exist in that atmosphere or any of the 9 planets.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation.
Now, imagine this guy, him and 18 Keys. Imagine these guys being able to say whatever they want to say on social media. This man just said that black people in America can't live on Mars, and black people on Mars can live in America. So how you even know it's true? If neither one can go, if neither one can go or come, how you know it's true? How do you know them folks even been out of space? You don't even know. Isn't it funny that Elon Musk is talking about going to Mars, and you got the Bliggett, he's talking about going, they Martians? I told you all y'all working together. These black people work with them, with the Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all, and they work with them. Isn't it funny that the very planet that Elon Musk wants to go to, the very planet they want to quote unquote put hotels on, all that foolishness, the very planet they want to make a whole other civilization on, is the same planet that's populated by black folks. Now we should all know this. If black people control Mars, it would have failed out of outer space. It would have lost, it would have spin off its axis and flew into a black hole. We know good and well, if Mars is ran by black people, it would not still be a planet. We know this. If black folks ran Mars, it wouldn't, come on, y'all. Could y'all imagine a whole planet ran by the nigglets? Could you imagine? Could you imagine the destruction of the planet?
There is civilization on Mars. They did not originate here and go there. We planted them there. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, in none of the, there is civilization on Mars. They did not originate here and go there. We planted them there. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and none of the 9 planets are made from the same material. The people on Mars are similar in some respects to us on Earth. They are black.
And these people be talking about us believing in Jesus. This man just said that they planted people on Mars. Vintage Goods Willie said, I'm in fear of a black planet. I know that's right. They trying to convince believers that believing in Christ is crazy. But they believe that some nigglets on Earth went to Mars, planted some people there, and came back. And you think black folks are ready for the Great Reset? You think black folks are ready for the Great Reset? You think the black man is in any position to fight against a global army? You think the black man is in any position to fight against the UN, and he's talking about black people on Mars? They look just like us, but they are taller and they are skinnier, but they are black nonetheless.
Is civilization on Mars. They did not originate here and go there. We planted them there. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and none of the 9 planets are made from the same material. The people on Mars are similar in some respects to us on Earth. They are black, a bit taller and skinnier than a black man and woman on Earth. They are similar to us, but the Martian atmosphere was created so distinct from Earth's atmosphere. Biologically, there can be no cross-pollination. No black Martian can come to Earth and exist in this environment. No black man from Earth can go to Mars and exist in that atmosphere or any of the 9 planets.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high level conversation.
And 18 Keys got the nerve to tag the phrase high level conversation. And these be the dumbest conversations known to man. Notice that 18 Keys and Silly Carson and all them, they never talk about the Great Reset and what they're going to do about it. They never tell y'all what to do when the Great Reset is coming. They never tell you. This man is talking about black people on Mars. Some fictional BS. And the Great Reset is real. Somebody said Agenda 2024 is real. Mystic Philly said, I've been doing research on the Reconstruction period. I challenge everyone who complains and cries, look up Hiram R. Revels, James Weeks, William Francis Johnson, and get back to me, black people. Well, let's look them up. We're going to look them up. Diamone says, the Quran says that the righteous and unrighteous will both be in hell. I have no idea how people follow this religion is demonic. Well, Diamone, at least they're honest. You know, at least they honest, Diamone. If you follow the religion, you're gonna end up in hell. I mean, at least they honest, you know. You know. Thank you so much, Cruise Missile, for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Vintage Goods Willie, thank you so much. But imagine we are here facing Armageddon, and you got all these black men talking about foolishness. This man said, we can't go there, they can't come here, but we know it's true. Because Elijah Muhammad told them. And Elijah Muhammad was following Farrar Muhammad. Stupid. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I will see you all again on Saturday. Listen, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for, spending time with me. I think I got both lives canceled on both pages, which is insane. But we had a late super sticker come in. Let me get it up right here. As if he ever traveled to Mars, away from all his bean pies and bleaching creams. 18 Keys trying to earn his cream. His creams, no doubt. You know what's funny though? Like I said, as much as they hate the white man, everything they do is based on what the white man done said. How do y'all know we can go out of space? How does anybody know we can go out of space? How? How do we know this? We only assuming based on what they show us that we're going out of space. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I sure don't believe in outer space. You telling me that black folks are on Mars? I really don't believe it. Because Mars would have been destroyed. Mars would have been destroyed. You mean to tell me a whole planet full of black people? And let's assume that there was a whole planet full of black people with higher intelligence. Oh, they would have been blew up. Matter of fact, let's be honest. They would have blew up Mars, got on spaceships, and then intergalactically migrated to Earth. The black aliens on Mars would have migrated stellarly to Earth. They would have found a way to breathe somehow on this planet. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. All right, bus driver. My email is I'm gonna put it in here. I will be looking in your ebony eye. Hey, yo. All these Negroes slow. Don't look any further. Thank you, Mr. Hampton, for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't know why it's not coming up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. My lives on my He Is Blanchard page is down till September the 30th. And this is probably going to be down till October something. They were so-called black men that stood on principles and handled business. It was many of them that did. That's the email for y'all to see it, but right, Farrar Muhammad. Anyway, listen, I love y'all, and I will see you all soon. Thank you, Angel Wings, for moderating. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys, now for moderating as well. Thank you so much. I love y'all, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.